Okay, we're going to talk about workplace readiness skills today. You guys have already done some workplace skills work, but we're going to talk about workplace readiness skills today because the state of Virginia has noticed that people who graduate high school are not ready for the workplace. So, Michelle, I need to advance this. The first thing we need to talk about is a positive work ethic. Yesterday, you guys did not display a very good positive work ethic, and that would not be very good if you were working for a job. So, what's the main things about being positive work ethic? You got to be punctual, you got to be on time, you have to take direction, which means if somebody tells you to do something, you do it, and you don't talk back or sass. And you have to be motivated to complete what you're assigned to do, because if you go in there and you don't have a good positive attitude, you're not going to do well in the workforce. Michelle, next slide, please. Okay, the next most important thing about being ready for the workplace is integrity. Integrity means being honest and doing the right thing, even if it's not what you want to do. JJ, give me an example of integrity.
Taking us at all life defense.
That would not be integrity. That's the opposite of
I'm
it.
not finished. And him coming back into class and being confused and like, where's my life vest? Where's my life vest? And he used my integrity and saying that I took it and giving it back to him.
Wow.
So you need to respect the property of others and coworkers. So you don't go and get into Sharon's backpack when she's not, or if she went to the restroom or something. You guys understand that, right? You guys do not mess with other people's property. Also, when you're working, if you don't, do you need me to move?
I'm just trying to,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, also, you got to realize that when you do stuff, it has consequences, not just for you, but for your employer too. If you're like working in a restaurant and when your boss isn't there and a customer asks for a special order and you say something like, I'm sorry, this isn't Burger King, you can't have it your way, that reflects badly on his business, not just on you. And he'll probably lose customers, and if you start costing your employer customers, he's not going to want to employ you. Next slide, please. So the most important thing you guys need to pick up, other than integrity, is being able to work as a team. You need to work together. If you need to get along with your coworkers. So if you're working with a coworker and they're not doing or pulling their load, how would you handle that situation, Dale?
He wouldn't. He doesn't have a job.
You're working and you're supposed to be getting help from somebody and they're not doing anything. How do you handle that situation? You going to talk to him or are you going to talk to your boss? What do you do?
You're going to bust your butt even more to get it done. And then afterwards you're going to be like, dude, why'd you do that?
Are you going to want to continue to work with somebody who's going to let you do all the work
No,
himself?
then you're going to go to your boss and you're like, yo, boss, this kind of...
But you're not even going to talk to the guy at all?
Oh yeah, that's what I mean before you go to the boss.
That's step one.
So, if you see somebody who's struggling with something, you're going to help them out?
Of course.
Okay. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, you got to remember that when you're at work, you're representing yourself, so you have to dress appropriately, whatever the job calls for. You don't go into work at a restaurant wearing flip-flops, most likely. If you're supposed to wear a uniform, you need to be wearing the uniform. You also need to maintain hygiene, because I know that you'll encounter it in your workplace. You'll meet somebody who does not maintain personal hygiene, and they may have offensive smell or something about them, and you won't want to be around them. So you guys need to practice it yourself, so that if you come into that situation, you have a good place to stand on. Also, you don't want to cuss or curse. I noticed that seems to be a major problem in this school, that there's a lot of foul language that's used
This school?
quite regularly.
You mean Nala?
This school?
Is that?
No, I am not
Tell her
applying,
her-
I am not talking about anyone in particular in this class. I'm just saying the school in general.
But
If you walk down the hall, students have some very foul mouths, and you should not use that language, especially in the workplace.
Mr. Harvey, this school or not?
Be acceptable about it.
Bobby, you can't even make say anything.
So you also need to demonstrate diversity awareness. You got to realize that you can't discriminate against others just because of their race, color, or religion. Even if you don't approve of their race, color, or religion, you need to keep those attitudes to yourself and be respectful. You want to be treated like you're going to treat others the way you want to be treated. Can we go on to the next slide? So another good thing to know is you got to have conflict resolution skills. So if you're in the workplace and Morgan's arguing with Brianna and you see it, what are you going to do about it, Jacob?
I'm telling them to stop arguing.
You going to reason with them first?
I'm just gonna tell them to stop arguing, and if they don't stop, I'm gonna fire them.
Well, that's assuming you have the authority to do that.
I would record
I'm
it
assuming I'm the boss in this situation.
in case somebody breaks it.
Well, well, you should resolve the conflict in the best manner possible. And if you're the boss, I guess that would be your prerogative to just fire them. But most bosses try to work out solutions and get the people to work together because it's expensive to hire and fire people. Can we have the next slide, please?
Oh, that was cool.
Your kids are making too much noise, you can't concentrate.
Well, you can concentrate now. Because you can tell me about demonstrating creativity and resourcefulness, Nyla.
I don't know. What?
So, if you know a better way to do something, are you going to point it out? Or are you keep it to yourself?
What do you think?
Well, I don't know what you would do. You got to tell me. If you're working on something and you come across the problem, what are you going to do? You can ask for help? You're going to try to solve it yourself? You're going to just ignore it? What?
I don't know, when Jay said it
We're gonna
depends
call
on the
this
situation.
Taylor.
I said situation.
Same thing, JJ, you just said it in a stupid way.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa.
See,
Now-
that was not teamwork.
That was hard.
That's not very good teamwork or being very respectful. And as you remember, we're supposed to be respectful and treat others with
I think
respect.
someone should say
Oh,
sorry
yeah.
here, and it's not JJ.
Can we go on to the next slide, Michelle?
Yes, sir.
So this is what you need to be. You need to be a creative genius.
I am.
But I am.
So you need to think outside the box. You need to be strategic. You need to make yourself indispensable to your boss so he thinks he just can't function without you. If you get to that situation, then you're in a good spot. But that's not easy to do, and there's always somebody waiting in the wings who wants your job. Guaranteed.
Duh, sorry, Carly.
Okay. Michelle, can we go on to the next slide? Okay, these are some interview questions that you people are going to encounter and you're going to need to get ready to answer. So the first thing that you usually get asked when you go into an interview is the boss is going to say, the interviewee is going to say, relax and tell me a little about yourself. And you need to be prepared to answer that, which means what do they really want you to say? What they want you to tell them is how good you're going to do the job, how you can learn the job, that you're a good worker, and that you're easily trainable. So that's what they want to hear. But usually people who are inexperienced, they'll tell them, well, I like baseball, or I like to go out, or whatever. So what you want to do is you want to practice and prepare. And that's what we're going to do today.
You want to print this out for me?
Yes, I'm going to print out all the interview questions. They're all printed out, and you will get a chance to answer them yourselves.
Are we doing interviews? Is that what we're doing?
Not today. You're going to be answering these questions in Word today, as you would. So can we go to the next slide? Another question that you're going to come in is, what do you know about our company? As you can see, 40% of the people know nothing about the company that they're going to ask for a job for. those 40% of the people hardly ever get the job. So you want to do some research about where you're going to, trying to get a job at, so that if they ask you this question, you have some knowledge.
Well, they like to hear something along the lines of like, even if you don't know, I guess this is like, gonna be pretty genius, but couldn't you like just be like, you know, I've heard it was great things, great product, everything's fantastic here. They like that. Be like,
Well, you'll,
they know you're lying.
as you'll see, that answer comes up later for some questions. So also, if you're hired, how long do you expect to work here? Are you gonna tell them that you only want to work there for like a week?
No, I'm gonna tell them to go find another job.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's the truth, I'm not gonna lie to you.
I didn't say lie to them. You want to tell them that you want to work there long term, most likely, unless it's just a temporary short-term job.
True.
Can we go on to the next slide? So, why did you decide to seek this job? JJ, you wanted to talk about this. Why did you look for the job? Because they had good products and stuff, right?
Yeah, well, I was looking for the job because I realized that I had no money. Money's an important part of this world that we live in. So I decided I would come apply for a job. Hope that,
To improve yourself,
you know,
for the betterment
To
of
improve
yourself
my
and your employer, right?
to improve my financial needs.
And I think too, it means that specific job, like the specific job that you're applying for. You're not just gonna apply for anything. You're gonna have a reason to apply for a specific job.
Well, yeah, that'd be a job that I like. Unless I was in a drastic situation and needed to be like a dishwasher or something.
I hate being a dishwasher. I hate it.
Well, if you're applying to be a dishwasher, that's something you
I
don't want
won't
to say
ever
in
again.
an interview.
Never again.
So, what motivates you to do a good job? Morgan, what motivates you to do a good job?
I want
Money
someone
is
to
not an
have me on the
answer.
balance.
No, what makes you want to do a job?
Yeah, to get money, to learn new stuff.
No, money is
Hey,
not.
let me get a Cheeto.
You want to do a good job so that you impress your employer and you can advance. That incorporates getting you more money, but you want to do a good job to help your employer so he can succeed and make more money. And if he makes more money, he'll probably reward you with more money.
With a raise. Even if it's a 25 cent raise.
Okay, and Sharon, why do you want to work there? What would you say? You gotta be honest. What would you say?
Give an example of where we're supposed to be applying to.
Yeah,
So it's
no.
easier.
Oh, you want an example? Say you were applying, well, I don't know where you guys
Mickey
really want to work.
D's.
KFC.
You guys want to work in fast food, really?
No.
Food Lion. It's money, yo.
No.
Say you wanted to work for the county,
Like when you're
the
going to
county,
college.
you wanted to work in
you're
the
out of
county government office. Why would you want to work there, Amber?
You work
Why
on the
would I?
construction site?
Yeah,
Because they make alright
Where do
money.
you want to work?
that's your only reason?
Yup.
You don't want to help people or any of that stuff?
Yeah, really.
Okay.
I mean,
So
like,
where would you want to work?
what am I
You
supposed
really
to?
think your employer,
Like helping the doctor
that the
out?
interviewer is going to be more motivated to help somebody who's out there just for financial gain, or someone who's out there for financial gain? Obviously, you wouldn't be applying for a job if you weren't looking for some money or compensation. But don't you think you should want to help people or something if you're applying for a job like at the county or a hospital or something?
That's what they want to hear. That's not an honest answer then.
But at the same time, you can't be completely honest when you're going into an interview.
Why
So,
not?
Because you might not get that
Offhand,
job.
just what sort of job are you looking to find in life?
Me?
Yes.
I don't really care. I just need a way to make money. That's it.
So you have no goals or motivations at all?
I'm gonna go to college. That's about it.
Become
But go to college for what?
You
I'll
don't
figure
know.
that out when I go.
Let's
Go
go to the
back
next
to
slide.
Amber. I got you. I'll do too.
I'll let
Okay.
you know
College
that
too.
since you got me.
I want to go to college.
You have to walk over and get it.
Ricky, what wage are you looking for? What would you say if they asked you
$9.50.
that?
$12.
I need $15 an hour.
37.
45.
Well, you want to tell them whatever the general rate is. You don't.
Whatever.
When you start, if you start asking for money that's above what they're willing to pay, they're gonna cross you off because they'll say you ain't gonna work there.
Like
And if
what?
you ask for money that's too low, then they'll say, great, they'll hire you and they'll give you that low wage when you should have been making more. So you want, basically, you wanna say,
Like
whatever the
You wanna
going
say
rate
the
is.
highest for them is like $7.50.
Ask them, what's the highest you've ever paid for? $100 an hour, I'll take that.
Well, if you're applying for a minimum wage job, then you would say minimum wage.
Or just $7.50.
So-
I make 25 cents more than minimum wage. I make $7.50. I put 8 on my application.
Jose,
Wait, how much money are you supposed to?
as a youngster, what did you do to earn your own money? So, what do you do to make spending money as you're growing up?
I mow lawns and
J-O-B. My
shovel
mother.
driveways.
He didn't ask you, yes, he said this. What he said. He shoveled the.
So you want to give an answer that demonstrates that you value doing work and you know the value of money and that you have to work for it, right? Okay, Bobby, tell me about your proudest accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm probably not the one person who asked that.
Well, you're
Shout like a.
You're gonna say whatever you're proudest that you've accomplished.
I'll leave it up.
You want to tell your own individual story. So you need to work on that. If you're not proud of anything you accomplished, you need to work on something that you're proud about doing, right?
Come back at me tomorrow.
You want to go to the next slide?
Yeah.
Come back at me tomorrow.
So, what is your biggest weakness, Dale? What are you gonna say if somebody asks you that?
I have
Just be honest.
Yeah.
I hate dirty.
You're gonna be honest, but you're gonna try to turn the weakness into a positive.
Yeah.
You don't want to just say, "Well, I'm terrible at doing this, and there's no way I'll ever get
Like,
better."
I have OCD, I have to clean everything.
one thing that I always say is that like on I applied to a job and it was like, what's your biggest weakness? I was like, I always get angry when I do not do something to my full ability.
Me too.
And I feel
Well,
like that is one of those
you
things.
get angry when you don't do a good job. You might say, you might not want to use the word angry. You might
Well,
say,
you know what I mean. Like I get
I'm
upset with
disappointed in myself when I don't do my best, or something like that.
I just put that on a
Yeah, you
crazy
throw
side.
angry out there, that's just not real good.
Yeah, they don't want angry people on.
Well, you know, you catch me. You got it.
So what would you do if your replacement didn't show up on time and it's time for you to go home?
Cause boss
Michelle.
let her clock.
Well, where I work, you have to stay until they show up, so
I don't think so.
I don't really have a choice. So I would have to stay.
Well, that's generally the policy, but
Yeah,
the supervisor should make an effort to get a replacement in for you.
yeah.
What if they don't show up?
But I can only stay for a certain amount of time because I'm a minor, so they have to send me home by a certain time anyways.
I would stay there.
Yeah, that's,
Make some
you're gonna
money.
stay, if it's at all possible, you're gonna stay.
Why?
I mean, sometimes you may have a commitment that you can't not do, but
Did you say
for
send
the most part, you're
Monday?
gonna stay.
Bullshit, because I've clocked out 12 o'clock at my work before. Like at night.
So if a customer said something rude to you, what would you
Where
do
you
about
work
it,
at, Amber?
Tiffany?
Stupid
If
place.
a customer came up to
Ricky
you, were like working in a restaurant and the customer said something that you thought was rude or inappropriate, what would you do about it?
Oh,
That's a good answer. Can we go on to the next slide, Michelle? So you don't want to be like this guy and go to the interview unprepared. You went to the interview, he didn't know what he was doing, and this is how he looks.
Are you
So,
gonna put out the answers too?
what?
No.
So Crystal, if you got asked, why do you think customers shop here, what would you say? Products, customer service. You want to build the employer that's like, you provide the best customer service and I want to be a part of that. Reasonable prices. All right, Jacob, somebody asked you, how are your math skills?
Terrible. I use a calculator.
I would say my basic math skills are good, but my advanced math skills are really good.
Okay, and unless they really push you on it, you would try to leave it at that, right?
Yes.
finally, JJ, what are your career goals?
Are we being for real? Or are we being?
Well, what would you tell them if you were at an interview and they asked you that? So what would your answer be?
I'd like to go to college, finish college, go to police school, finish police school, become a cop, retire, live my life happily.
No, that's good.
A beautiful life.
That's good. So you want to go to the last slide, Michelle? Okay, so what you're going to do is I'm going to give you a copy of those questions for the interview. And you're going to say, you're going to Word document, and you're going to type up the question and type in what you would answer. And you can pick whatever job you want to be going for to make your answers for. Because this is your career, not mine, so I'm not going to say, well, you're going to be this or you're going to be that. This is what you want to do, how you would go about getting the job. That's it.